you could just as easily write this book and trace it going back to the Scottish kings. And so that's what we like to do as well. Because we're British Unionists, we're looking at it from different angles altogether. So we don't hold to the view that the British monarchy goes back down the English line. We can just as easily hold to the fact that it goes down through the Scottish line. So it's that those things are not set in stone. These are just two different ways of looking at exactly the same thing. But it does make a difference politically in the real world how you articulate it. And I guess it's always tended to be articulated from the English perspective, and there's absolutely no harm in that. But that's simply just because there's more people in England, there's more scholars in England, there's more historical commentators in England. And so that's often the angle that you hear. But you could just as easily trace the British monarchy down through the Scottish line. And you see some Scottish nationalists on TikTok, for example, will say, oh, the king is English. Well, yeah, only if you traced it right back through the English line. You could just as easily trace the king back through the Scottish line, which is exactly what we do. So it's just a different matter of looking at exactly the same thing. So ultimately, though, he is the British king, the king of us all, and he can trace his heritage either going back down through the English line or going back down through the Scottish line. It just depends how you look at it. And of course, we here based in Scotland tend to look on it as going back down through the Scottish line. And we're going to bring this out because, sometimes I think there's an awful lot of stuff that's never been brought out properly. Why is it left at a force for good to have to do this? On our minuscule budget. Anyway, happy to do that. We're happy to rise to the occasion to do that. So in our next magazine, which will be the Coronation Special, which will be coming out in the summer, we're going to have a middle page poster which will trace the crown back down through the Scottish line to MacAlpin in 843. And so that will help to give visual image to what I'm trying to articulate here.